Okay, so we're diving into a pretty controversial topic today.
Controversial is putting it lightly.
Yeah, and what better place to dive into this contentious topic than right here at Pizzeria Pizzarella, surrounded by the intoxicating aroma of freshly baked pizzas. Speaking of which, this Hawaiian pizza is hitting the spot.
See, I can't even enjoy this perfect pepperoni with you bringing that up. Ruins the whole vibe, you know?
Oh, come on. It's not like one little pineapple chunk can ruin all this cheesy, saucy goodness. This place is buzzing. You've got the clinking glasses, everyone chatting, and that smell from the oven every time they bring out a fresh pie. It's all part of the experience.
More like the anticipation of watching good food go bad in slow motion. Seriously, haven't we had this debate 1,000 times? Pineapple on pizza is wrong. On principle, on taste. It's an insult to pizza chefs everywhere.
Okay, insult might be a bit dramatic. It's just a touch of sweetness to balance out all the savory stuff. Think about it. Back in the day, someone probably suggested putting pepperoni on pizza for the first time, and people probably clutched their garlic knots in horror.
Pepperoni is a classic for a reason. Pineapple, that's like a slippery slope to culinary chaos. Next thing you know, we'll be putting jelly beans on calzones and calling it fusion.
Okay, jelly beans might be a bridge too far, but I get where you're coming from. You know, it's funny, when I told people what we were talking about today, everyone I knew had an opinion on it.
Everyone has an opinion on this one. It's one of those few truly universal debates.
And that's kind of what we're getting at today on this deep dive. Why is this such a big deal? I mean, it's just a pizza topping, right?
Well, it's never just tea about the food, is it?
You're right about that. It's about something bigger, I think.
It's about culture and tradition for sure, but also just personal preference, right? Like, what does it even mean to have good taste?
Good taste. That's a good point. Maybe we should define that first. What are we using as a baseline?
And who gets to decide? That's the real question.
Exactly. Like, are there objective standards for food? Some things that are just universally good or bad?
Or is it all subjective? Is beauty in the eye of the beholder, or I guess the taste buds of the eater?
This is already making my brain hurt.
Well, this is philosophy disguised as a food debate. What did you expect?
You're right. You're right. But, okay. To bring us back down to earth a little bit, let's rewind to how this whole debate got started between us.
Oh, you're telling that story?
Well, it's important context. Remember what you said about how it's about more than just the food.
Fair enough. Go for it.
So I think it all started because I mentioned how much I love a good Hawaiian pizza.
And I think I may have implied that you were, how do I put this delicately?
Oh, come on, just say it.
Let's just say my exact words were, you're out of your mind if you think that's a real pizza.
See? Perfectly polite.
Hey, I was being generous.
I guess that's how this whole thing blew up, though, huh? 1 minute we're having a casual conversation about lunch.
And the next thing I know, we're arguing about whether pineapple belongs on a pizza.
You were really passionate about it, too, I have to say. All those arguments about tradition and the sanctity of a classic pizza.
Someone had to defend the good name of pizza. It's a slippery slope, you know. Today it's pineapple, tomorrow.
Ketchup.
Don't even joke about that.
Okay, no ketchup.
Pizza is already a masterpiece. Tangy sauce, gooey cheese, all those delicious toppings. Why mess with perfection?
But isn't that part of what's fun about food? Trying new things, experimenting with different flavors. Nobody thought peanut butter and jelly would work, did they?
See, now you're comparing apples and oranges. Or should I say pineapples?
Yep.
Well, you get the idea. Some things just don't belong together. Like oil and water. Or pineapple and pizza.
I get it, you're a pizza purist.
I prefer the term guardian of tradition.
But seriously, though, you made some really interesting points about the whole texture thing, like how the sweetness and the savory flavors clash.
They do clash. It's like a symphony of flavors gone wrong.
You even had that analogy about the square peg and the round hole. But of course, I couldn't just let you win the argument that easily, could I? I mean, come on. Sweet and savory, that's like a classic combo. Think about like barbecue sauce or teriyaki glaze.
Those are completely different culinary contexts. Don't try to distract me with your whataboutism.
Okay, I see your point. You're all about keeping those classic flavors pure, those culinary traditions going. But don't you think there's room for things to change a little? To add your own spin?
Sin. This isn't about throwing a cute little hat on your pizza. It's about respecting the balance of flavors. And pineapple just throws the whole thing off.
You're saying the pineapple sweetness is just too much? That it overpowers everything else?
Completely. It's like trying to enjoy a beautiful piece of music, but someone's blasting a tuba in the background. It just doesn't work.
Okay, love the music analogy. But gotta disagree. Imagine a perfectly ripe pineapple grilled so it's caramelized, and that tangy sweetness cuts through the richness of the cheese and the saltiness of, say, some ham. It's a whole symphony of flavors.
You're talking about a symphony. All I'm hearing is the death of good taste.
Whoa, okay, let's take a breath. Clearly, we've hit a nerve here. It's like pineapple represents something bigger going on.
Absolutely. It represents how we always need to reinvent the wheel, even when it's already perfect as it is. It's like someone saying, hey, the Mona Lisa's pretty good, but you know what it needs, a mustache. And some sunglasses. Some things are better left alone.
But that's how new dishes are born, right? You take something everyone knows and give it a twist. Like those sushi burritos everyone loves. Cronuts, too. People went crazy for those. And they're just mashups, when you think about it.
And some people, myself included, think those mashups are an abomination. Just because something is new and trendy doesn't automatically make it good. It's like, I don't know, putting a disco ball in the Sistine Chapel. Flashy, sure, but it just feels wrong.
Okay, gotta hand it to you. The Sistine Chapel analogy is pretty good. You win that round.
Yeah.
But I still think there's something to be said for experimenting, you know? Challenging the idea of what should or shouldn't be on pizza. Like, why does it have to be so black and white? Can't we love the classics and be open to new things?
This isn't about being open to new things. This is about boundaries, culinary boundaries. There's a reason certain flavor combinations have been around forever. It's not just tradition, it's science. Our taste buds, they're hardwired to enjoy certain things together. You wouldn't put orange juice on your steak?
Right. Okay, even I have to admit that's a bit of a stretch. And for the record, I have heard of some amazing marinades that use citrus. But let's talk about the psychology of food for a second. You said before that pineapple on pizza says something about us as a society.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that? What does this love-hate relationship with this one topping really tell us?
Well, for one, I think it shows how much we crave novelty. Like, we're always chasing that little rush of trying something new, even if it's just a different pizza topping. We live in a world with endless options. Sometimes it feels like we're drowning in new flavors and new trends and new must-try dishes.
And pineapple on pizza is just a symptom of all that.
Exactly. It's like those videos online. Top 10 weirdest food combinations you won't believe. We can't resist clicking, can we? We're drawn to the novelty, the shock value.
So you're saying it's not even about the taste, it's about the experience.
To some extent, yeah.
Oh.
It's about being able to say, hey, I tried that crazy thing. It's social currency. Gives you a story to tell.
So are you saying that people who actually like pineapple on pizza, they're just doing it for the gram?
No, not at all. Well, maybe some people. But I think for a lot of people, it's about nostalgia. It takes them back, reminds them of that first Hawaiian pizza they had when they were a kid. Our relationship with food, it's shaped by so many things. How we were raised, our culture, our own personal experiences.
It's like they say, we eat with our eyes first. Or in this case, maybe it's we eat with our memories first.
Exactly. And sometimes those memories are stronger than any aversion to pineapple.
So what does that say about those of us with, shall we say, more refined tastes?
Maybe it means we have a deeper understanding of what makes a pizza special, a deeper appreciation for those flavors that have been passed down for generations.
Or maybe it means we're stubborn and set in our ways. Just kidding. But seriously, you can't deny that tons of people love Hawaiian pizza. So clearly there's something appealing about it, right?
I'm not denying that people enjoy it. I'm questioning their taste, but I'm not denying their enjoyment.
Well, aren't you fancy? All right then, Mr. Food Connoisseur. How do you explain the enduring popularity of the Hawaiian pizza?
Well, as I said before, tradition plays a big role in these things. You know, something becomes popular and then it's just kind of self-perpetuating. People see it everywhere. They think it's normal.
So you think it's just a matter of exposure? Like the more we see something, the more we're likely to accept it?
It's more than that. It's cultural inertia, you know, like a snowball effect.
Okay, I see what you mean. So you're saying pineapple on pizza, it's like the culinary equivalent of a snowball rolling down a hill. It just keeps picking up steam, even if it doesn't really make sense.
Precisely. An avalanche of questionable taste, you might say.
Okay, I get it. But you know, this is actually a real psychological phenomenon we're talking about. There's research on this. It's called the mere exposure effect.
Go on.
Basically, the more we're exposed to something, whether it's a food, a song, even a person, the more familiar it becomes, and familiarity often breeds liking. It's like that song you hated at first, but then you heard it on the radio a million times, and now you kind of secretly like it.
I'd never admit to that.
Oh, come on. I know you have a guilty pleasure song. Everyone does. But anyway, my point is maybe this whole pineapple on pizza thing, it's not just about the taste itself, right? Maybe it's about what we're used to, what we've been exposed to, our cultural conditioning, if you will.
You're saying we're all just victims of circumstance, that our taste buds are held hostage by the whims of society.
Well, I wouldn't say we're victims exactly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, maybe our preferences aren't as individual as we think they are. Like maybe we're all just products of our environments to some extent. It's like you were saying before about cultural traditions, right?
Yeah.
What's considered normal in one place might be totally bizarre somewhere else.
Precisely. It's all relative. Which brings us back to the original question, what is good taste and who gets to decide?
You're right. It's like we've been circling back around to this idea all along, haven't we?
We have, but I think this conversation highlights a crucial point. There are layers to this debate.
Layers like a perfectly made... Never mind.
You were going to say pizza, weren't you?
Guilty as charged. But yeah, you're right. There's more to this than just pineapple on a pizza. It makes you wonder what other food debates say about us as humans, right? It's kind of like how we were talking about those weird pizza toppings from around the world, right? Like that one with the squid ink. I can't even imagine.
Oh, it gets wilder. Trust me. There's a whole world of pizza out there just waiting to be explored.
Maybe we should do a whole other deep dive on that sometime. The world's weirdest pizzas.
Now that's a deep dive I can get behind.
But for now, we're stuck with the pineapple debate, I guess. And speaking of which, things got a little out of hand, didn't they?
Out of hand. I think passionate is the word you're looking for.
You were definitely passionate. Remember when you called it a crime against nature?
Well, I stand by that statement.
And what about that whole thing about generations of Italian pizzaiolos rolling in their graves? I thought you were going to jump across the table.
Hey, you were about to take a bite. I had to do something drastic.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how a simple pizza topping can get everyone so fired up.
It really is. And you know what? I have to admit, you've given me some things to think about. Maybe I've been a little too hard on those pineapple lovers out there.
Is that a glimmer of hope? Are you saying you might be willing to give Hawaiian pizza another shot?
Whoa. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Eat, dive, Hawaiian style.
Some debates, it seems, are never truly settled.
Okay, no pineapple for you. But hey, at least we agreed on something, right?
Yeah.
That's a win in my book.
Baby steps.
Baby steps to pizza peace.